Hey there, people. Just thought I would show you something that is incredibly cool. If you're a metal worker, you may not have ever heard of this thing. I never heard of it before I bought it, and there are some other videos of this device on YouTube, and it's pretty damn amazing. Hey, when you first see this thing in a box, you think to yourself, oh, what the hell is Handy Auto Kit from Japan? I didn't know what it was. I saw it on an ad online, like an online classifieds, and it just had a couple pictures and it said Handy Auto Kit, and there was some of these pictures on the ad, and this is all I saw. And the young guy that was selling it, he didn't know what it was. He said, I think it's some kind of a torch or something, but he wasn't sure what it was. It's and I'm just going to go along with this for a little while before I explain exactly what it is. But it's got a cord, little plug-in, all built right into it. It's a beautiful machine, incredibly well built. And I guess I can tell you, it's a torch. It's a cutting torch. Just a regular oxyacetylene cutting torch. Well, it's not a regular cutting torch. There's a speed dial, low and high, front and back, and this is what it can do. Okay, here's the amazing thing about this torch. You can hook this wheel onto it, and it's driven under here. It's got a little drive shaft that goes through. And you can set your speed here. But when you start to cut, you don't have a lever, but you have this dial. When you turn this dial, that opens your oxygen, starts the wheel. So as soon as the cut starts, the torch starts rolling for you and keeps it real solid. And it'll just do the most amazing cuts. There's no way you can do a cut as nice as this torch by hand. So it's basically, if you, I don't know what they call it in your neighborhood, but we call these either radiograph, not the torch itself, but the big machines that they used to put the oxyacetylene torches on. They call it a radiograph, or some people like to call them beetles. They may be called something else in your vicinity. Just let us know what you guys call these things. Not this thing, I mean, this is one of a kind. This is patented and there's nothing in the world like it as far as I know. No automated driven torch like this. And what's just amazing about it, it's just so well built. Like, I don't know if you can appreciate it in the video, but it's an incredible piece of machinery. What's crazy, this one here seems kind of old. I think this one's from like the 1980s or something, just judging from the manual and things like that. But I looked it up, and sure enough, there's a company still selling this. And I think they still call it the Handy Auto, but it's a different company that owns it. Some company in the States licenses it now and makes it, I think. But I called them up to see what the thing would sell for today, and they said it was something like $1,500. So I thought that was a pretty sweet score, because when I bought it, it had been unused. There was no heat marks on the original tip, and there was no heat marks on these wheels. And now there is from me using it a few times. I don't really use it that much. I'm actually debating on selling it just because I know it's worth so much, and I just don't get enough use out of it where I have that plasma cutter. But I don't know, I almost can't bring myself to sell it. It's so beautiful, because if I ever did sell my plasma cutter, I'd be glad to have this still. So anyway, I'm just going to put it to use here and just show you what it can do. So again, kids, remember, safety, especially messing with a torch. It's dangerous stuff. Wear some good gloves, good welder's gloves, and these kind of goggles are about the best thing you can use, other than a good burning face shield, which I don't own right now. I'm going to get one just for this. I just don't do much torch work, so that's why I don't have one. No excuses though. So I've got my work supported, so when I cut through it, it's not going to fall and damage anything. So what you want to do with a torch like this, or any cutting torch really, if you can manage it, is cut away from you, because what that does is the stuff raining down below will flow that way. if you cut pulling towards you, it'll always go towards your feet. And you know, boots are expensive. You'll get burns, there's no way around it if you're a burner, but you gotta try and avoid burning the hell out of yourself. Here we go. So what you do is you get your speed about where you want it, like in the middle for me here, about 4 or 5 with this. I mean, somewhere in the middle. You have to tune it as you're going. Or do a practice cut before you do your important cut. This is not a major cut anyway, but just light it like a regular torch, and then to open your oxygen, you just twist this. It opens the oxygen, turns the motor on at the same time, or you can do both separately. So just dial in your torch like normal. No smoke. Get a neutral flame. Do a little test here. Hold solid and it'll just travel on its own. And where your thumb is there, in the back, you can speed it up and get the cut just right. So that's pretty much it. Neat thing is it comes with a bevel attachment, so you can bevel a big plate if you got to do a big butt joint or something. And it's got a circle cutting attachment too, and it does beautiful circle cuts. Just takes so long to set it up, and that it's getting kind of late. So trust me, it does a nice job. I was able to lower this plate using some clamps. I just clamped on the end that I'd cut, and then I finished cutting the other side. Then I stepped back and I let the clamp off and let it fall safely. And I'm not sure if you can really see this. I got a flashlight on it there just to show you the cut. Much like a, let's see if I can focus there. Much like a plasma cut, or a, sorry, you know, like a radiograph. If you've ever used one, you know how nice they cut when they're dialed in. And it's like anything, if, you know, I haven't run this thing in almost a year, so it's a little bit, I'm a little rusty, but you can dial that in, man, it does perfect cuts. Just to let you know, if you're ever cutting a piece of plate, always have a bar that you use for your guide, and leave a space. Like I put some 1/2-inch bars underneath it before I clamped it. Some people set up actual burning bars. Just weld a little bit of 1/2-inch bar underneath some plate. Usually you make it out of something a little heavier than a 1/4-inch bar, like some 2 by 3/8 or something like that, so it doesn't move around. Little handle on top, so when you can take it away afterwards, because they get very hot, don't grab them. So that's it, that's the Handy Auto. That's all I got to show you tonight. And remember, life's tough. It's tougher when you're stupid.